Hi, welcome to the Teachings of Mimi, where we study a higher education, where we contemplate and think about and discuss the 12 laws of mind. And they are principles that we operate all the time in our lives. They govern our lives. And it's best to be aware of them so you work with them and not against them. So I love talking about this stuff, and the patrons are just awesome. They support my writing. I love to write. I do. I love these videos, and I love just everything about podcasting and video editing and videoing and, playing with those tools when I have the opportunity to. Most of the time I'm inspired to write. So, you know, here it is. And in case you hadn't noticed, it's you know, World Series, Game 6, 1 foot in the grave. Go Astros. We're honored that we get to play the Braves. Uh, we're honored, and humbled. They're great. The Braves are great, and it's great that these two great teams come together and they're going to play, despite all the odds both teams have had. The Astros with the cheating scandal, but no one here cares because that was a very necessary win as far as they were concerned. Harvey had just happened, and nobody cares. They forgive them. They've turned a new leaf. It's a new team basically, and let's move forward. And that's what they've been doing. And then there's the Braves, who got a All-Star game ripped out from underneath them at the last minute because Major League Baseball perceived something that was going on in their state as racist. And you don't get to decide what goes on in the state, buddy. You, know, you don't. What makes you think your baseball is so freaking important that we're going to change our minds about how we live our lives? You know, Houston's done that a couple times. They told the Oilers, Bob Fungu, we don't care, leave. The Oilers to Tennessee, and Houston, it was like, ungrateful son of a bitch. You know, we just spent almost $1 billion upgrading that dome. Everybody and their dog said what a beautiful place it was, and 2 years later they're saying it stinks. You know, what? I don't think so. Get out of here. And this state loves football, but we don't have to watch pro football. There's all kinds of football. We love football. Hell, we'll watch youth sports football before we'll bow to them like that. So it's all about perceptions. And the patrons poll winner this week is let's dig in deeper to the law of relativity. And the law of relativity is it's all relative to your perception. Okay, it really is. And you don't assume you know more than the other guy. Okay, for example, the Astros. I want the Astros to win. I would love it if the Astros won. That would be great. But I'm not playing the game. They are. Okay? I'm not the ones in the midst of it. They are. It's not right for me to do anything but lend my energy to their effort. There are other people who learn these laws of mind and have wrapped the I am God around their ego instead of melding their ego to their heart and now, wrapping it around. And what comes out is instead of, well, it's my world and the Braves are going to win. It's, I don't care who wins or lose. I don't. I don't care who wins and I don't care who loses. I care about how they play the game. Were they on point? Were they paying attention? Were they being the best that they could be? I know they are. Were they relaxed and having fun? Hell yeah, you got 1 foot in the grave. Go ahead. and they'll get tied up and they'll kill it in 7. Which one's going to win? I don't know. I know which one I would prefer to win, that I would like to win, but both teams are great, so it doesn't really matter who wins or who loses. It's how they played the game. You're not going to remember if they won this World Series or not. You're going to remember that in the 9th inning with 2 outs and no men on base, they came back from a 7-run deficit and won. That's what you're going to remember. Okay, you're going to remember that the bases were loaded, 2 outs, 6th inning, and bam, grand slam home run. Or shoot, like the last game, bases loaded, grand slam home run. Astros in the hole by 4 runs already, and they battle back and they battle back and they battle back, and you watch the interplay. And when they play in Atlanta, it's just wonderful because they play by the national rule games, and it's probably the last time we're going to see that because, Major League Baseball is woke and they're lazy, and they want everybody to play with the same set of rules. So they're going to probably make it, they're calling it international designated hitter rule, and that takes out a lot of the strategy and fun out of the game. It really does. It's still the game, but it's not as exciting as it is when it's with national rules and the pitcher has to bat, and you're going to have to figure out, do I pinch hit this guy and or do I let the pitcher bat and then pinch run someone for him, or do I, and it's all these different scenarios that you get to pick from. Is great. That's just me. So the clip at the beginning of this video and at the end of this video shows this clearly. My Cousin Vinny is a great movie, and it's full of how these people from the city come into the country, in Georgia, from New York, they're in Georgia, and now they got to play by Georgia rules, and they pick up things while they're there that help them later when they need them, and they come to a perception about each other that they appreciate and admire each other because the people who came in from the outside paid attention and did not judge them in any way about their picadillos. And it's, understanding that, you can assume something all you want. That's why people call that law of assumption. It's not. It's not a law. You can assume things all you want. That doesn't make them true. Now what? Jigsaw. No, it doesn't work like that. It's showing you your assumptions, not their assumptions. Yours. Okay. If you assume and this is where law of attraction comes in, if you assume someone's a dumbass, you're going to be shown to be the dumbass. Okay? They're going to be shown to be brilliant. That's a judgment. You sent judgment their way. And that's what, you be the 10th man or the 9th man, that, you're the fan. You're not going to judge. You're just going to root for your team and wish everyone on the field the best. And that you hope you get a really great game, win or lose. And the battle goes on down at the field with the ones who are playing. If you try to force your picadillos on everybody else, it's going to come back and bite you right on the ass. Why is that? Because it's all relative to your perception. Now, Objective Man calls this a theory because it's an intangible. That's what they call it nowadays. They know it's a force, an intangible. They can't measure it. They don't know how to measure it. So it's like, yeah, yeah, it's a force, all right, but we don't know how to measure it, so we don't know how to deal with it. So we'll just put it over there. You know, it's not a law of assumption, it's the law of relativity. Okay, it's relative to your perception. Okay, so if you assume, for example, in the clip, that the young lady has no idea except maybe some general automotive because she was hanging out in a garage with her father and brothers, then you're going to be shown that she's a brilliant genius and you're the idiot, like that clip shows. Okay? And you can't argue with her. It's enlightened reason. Okay? She's perfectly right and correct, and there's nothing you can say or do about it. Okay? That's her creative juice. That's where she goes. That's her happy place. She likes to study that stuff and do stuff with it. It's great. In her mind, she's a genius at this. It comes so easy. Okay? But in the other man's mind, who had, the lawyer's mind, who's going to question her, in his mind was, she's just a beautiful young woman. She can't possibly know that. She's too beautiful and young to be studying that kind of thing. That's an assumption. He's about to get that assumption ripped right off his heart. Okay, that's the point. Make a judgment. Let me show you both sides of it, and now get rid of it. So, get rid of them. Get rid of all of them. Everybody's perfect and wonderful. It's all relative to your perception. If you think it's going to be all beautiful and wonderful, there's only one that's coming from a place of love, and that expands out, and that's what you get. Okay? That's what you get. You get nothing but lovely and perfect, and it's all wonderful. And then you forget for a little while, and it gets salted and peppered up, and then it's too much pepper. Okay. Oh, man, what have I been thinking? And that's why the Bible tells you at least once a year, sit down, clean out your purse. Clean out your purse. But there's habits you can get into where you don't really need to clean out your purse. Your purse is always kind of clean, and then the little things that come up are no big deal. You know how to handle it. It's just getting into that groove, You got to do it, do it. You got to groove it. And then, once they see you differently, okay, as that lawyer had to see the beautiful young woman differently, he came to admire and respect her. And there's all kinds of little nuances in that movie that show this. They discover while they're there that, anyone who takes pride in their grits, and everybody takes pride in their grits. In other words, they love their grits. Objective meaning calls it pride, but it's love. They love their grits. So there's a certain way of cooking grits. It's like rice. It's a certain way of cooking it. You melt your butter, and you put your grits in, and you put your water in, or your milk in, whichever one you're going to use, and then you cover it, and you turn it down to the lowest setting you can make it, and you leave it alone. If it's rice, you leave it alone for 15 minutes. If it's grits, you leave it alone for 20 minutes. Okay, and you just leave it alone. And then after 20 minutes, you open it up, and it's just delicious. It's so delicious. Same with the rice. Nice and fluffy and beautiful, and you don't have to do a thing. Just let it sit there and cook. Okay, a lowest setting. So, and then it comes out, perfect. So they were all explaining that to him. A couple of people explained that to him. So then later, when he's defending his cousin, he points out that, that you couldn't have seen that because that was only 5 minutes. And you said you were cooking grits. Don't you cook grits like everybody else? It's a great scene. It is. It's a great scene. And there's like 3 or 4 of them like that in that testimony in the court, and it really brings it out that it's relative to your perception. So I hope this helps. It's good to remember it's all you and your perception. So when things are yanking your chain, you go forgive. And when it's something that's crossing your consciousness, as you've declared you're this, and something is showing you that you are not that, you change it. And you change it, and you keep changing it. You revise that so that, you know, it's going to build this momentum and reflect itself back to you um, as you build that momentum, which is, you know, something that is just part of it. You don't keep buying from Acme. When Acme proves that their products ain't no good, you stop buying from Acme. If you keep buying from Acme, then you're doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to get different results, and you're not. That's the definition of crazy. That's crazy thinking. Don't think like that, you know. Change how you think. And the beautiful part of all of this is man was like a dog to God and his son. So they made it as easy as they could. We're the ones being pig-headed, stubborn, and you know, hard-headed, you know. And they're sticking this carrot out. Come on, come on, come on. They want all this stuff. Come on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want the stuff. I want the stuff. You know. Okay, here, have some stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, but in the end, you're going to have all this stuff and wonder why you still feel empty. You know, and if you've wrapped it around your ego, you've got some hard lessons to learn. You know, because you're not doing a thing. You're just thinking. And it's going to come back and bite you when you judge others as being stupid. It's going to come back and you're going to look stupid and they're going to look brilliant. Unless you change it quickly. Unless you understand these principles and realize what you did the first time it comes nibbling at your ass. So it's all relative. And I hope this helps. Blessings to you. And thank you. Thank you for being you.
Why is it a trick question?
Watch this.
Because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center.